We have a person claiming to be Tobias Harris in the chat. I don't believe this one.
What up, Toby?
Who says, I just need a standing ovation. So this has been a source of some debate. I did want to get into this at some point. Source of some debate at least on Twitter. It's pretty contained. About the idea of giving him the Trea Turner treatment.
Yeah, well, I
at their
was
next
just going to say
game.
that the last time this was a self-contained Twitter debate, it actually turned into a thing at the arena.
Yeah.
So,
but we're also talking about a guy who's an actual all-pro in his sport, Trea Turner, like MVP conversation. Where,
hey, that's $180 million man, Tobias Harris, you're talking about.
Yeah, well, $300 million man, and he stepped up to the plate literally after that and did what he did for the second half of the season going into the postseason. It might have a different type of effect because of the mental capacity that we talk about with guys and how they accept certain things and how they're treated. I don't know that that's going to work out for Tobias Harris because even when Trea Turner was going through that, Tobias has been there before with the crowd, and he was saying stay on that side when they were booing him before. So now that they're going to cheer, he's going to look at that and say, all right, now you guys are being condescending. I don't know what he's going to say, but he has told us that he's a sniper. He's a guy who can shoot the ball, whatever terms he used to call himself as this great shooter, the assassin scorer. Yeah, that he was. I don't think he's going to take an ovation the same way that Trea Turner did last season.
I mean, frankly, I don't think it matters how he takes it. I think he hasn't been good enough, right? Like, that's the thing.
It does matter because how are you going to react to it? He's not going to perform the same way. That's how it matters.
Trea Turner's baseline is higher in his field than Tobias Harris's is. So, like, that's really here's what I'm going to say. Trea Turner gave Philly fans credit and all that and, like, played it up. I was like, thank you so much for that. It didn't really matter that much. Like, what mattered is Trea Turner playing closer to his career average than he was beforehand. I'm not trying to take anything. It was a cool moment that I mocked ahead of time. And then it was like, he goes on a run and it's all well and good. But, like, end of the day, the rah-rah stuff only goes so far. So even if Tobias were to get a standing O and he has a good week and it's like, yeah, lifted my sails, like, after that, he's still Tobias Harris, and he still has the same pitfalls as a player that he had yesterday, that'll have tomorrow, that'll have a month from now. So I get it. Like, I'm not shaming anyone who their way of trying to prop a player up is to say, you're going through a tough time, you're hearing it from fans, you're hearing it from the media. I'm going to try to give you some peace of mind. And look, like Tobias has also said publicly, that, like, the mental side of the game is important, that he's gone through tough mental stretches in seasons past, whether it's his role or roster configuration or he's just shooting poorly, whatever it is. I don't think it's a crazy idea. I just, like, does it ultimately matter? Is giving Tobias a standing ovation on Friday against Charlotte going to mean anything when they get to round two, if they get to round two, based on health and everything else? Fuck no.
Well, wait a minute.
What matters
when
is
are they
Tobias.
giving him the standing ovation? Because during introductions, lights off, all that stuff, they call the next name. There's not even going to be enough time.
It's not like he's going to walk up to a plate like a baseball game.
No, it's not. Yeah. No, and even if he hits his first shot, nobody's going to stand up.
It's got to be more of like a free throw line,
or like a free throw line type.
Right? Yeah. So I mean, whatever, man. But we're past that stuff with him, man. Just go out there and play.
To Kyle's point,
just go hoop, man. You don't need a standing ovation.
If fixing a struggling athlete was as easy as giving him a standing ovation, everyone would do it, and there would be no struggling athletes. That's not the way it works. Like, you give Trea Turner credit because he got that. Maybe that gave him a little bit of a jolt of energy, a little boost of confidence, and then he ran on it. Like, yes, I give the fans a lot of credit because I think booing is a little bit overrated at times, especially when you're, I think it makes sense to boo effort and focus and things like that. But when you're trying and just not succeeding, I don't necessarily think we have to boo and quite frankly, Philly's changed. I don't think we do boo as much as we used to. But I give Philly fans credit for trying something different. But I give most of the credit to Trea Turner because he turned it around and he kept it going for a long stretch. Tobias hasn't shown that he's capable of keeping anything going for a long stretch. So why would we think it was going to work? And Nick Nurse brought something up. He says, I just want him to let it come to him a little bit. And I certainly want him to do other things. He's still got to defend and rebound and draw offense for other people, set screens, make sure it's not trying to get out of the slump. And then he goes and says, and I think he's doing that. And I just want to know which Tobias Harris Nick Nurse is watching, because that was my biggest complaint, is that he's not defending. He's not rebounding. He's not doing the other things outside of scoring. And that's why the slump is so frustrating. And look, I know Nick Nurse has to stand up for his guy. He says the first part and says, but I think he's doing that. Like, you're almost contractually required to do that as a coach if you want to keep the locker room. I get it. I'm not. But, man, if you could just do something to make an imprint on the game that's not dependent on the ball going in the basket, because right now nobody has any kind of faith that the ball is actually going to go in the basket, and he's not doing anything.
Coaches do that all the time. Plus, Nurse coming from Toronto with the reputation of throwing his players under the bus publicly, he had to say what he had to say.
It did almost seem like he said the first thing, which was really like, you need to do this, and then realize what he was doing and go, but I think he's actually doing that. Yeah,
and then it goes back to, as you say all of that, the sequence that we were watching in real time where everybody else was jumping for the basketball except for him. And then other people saw it too.
That's one that deserved a
boo. Yeah, exactly.
No round of applause for that nonsense.
I mean, we saw it in the moment. We talked about it during the post-game show. And again, we appreciate everybody coming out to the check to hang out with us and watch it and yell like we did in that moment and driving us crazy. The amount of clips that I saw after the fact that they saw what we saw when it's
hard to hide out there.
Tyrese Maxey, Kyle Lowry, Jaylen Brown, everybody else but him, and it was amazing.
Look, it's not like in football where sometimes you have to wait for the all 22 to see like, well, that guy messed up a route. That's like, that camera is on you,
dude.
In a basketball game. You cannot hide from. And to build just a quick thing after what Derek said, I do think Sixers fans in general have been good in the last 5 to 7-ish, whatever amount of years.
Markelle Fultz made a layup, and he pretty much got a standing ovation.
At identifying, like, these guys, this guy needs support right now. Yes. Markelle comes back. Ben Simmons, right up until it was impossible to ignore.
Game 7.
The Trae Young non-dunk or layup play. He was getting applause at the free throw line despite stinking it the fuck up. Like, this has been a supportive fan base. This is not a team or a group that's coming to games that's trying to run these guys out of their own building. Their home court advantage has been awesome for the last 7 years or whatever it is that Joel Embiid has been active and playing for this team. So, look, if people applaud, whatever, great. I don't think it matters.
And the point is, we've already been here with him before.
Yeah.
That's the thing. For him to say what he said the last time where he was booed. And he came out publicly and he called out the fans and all of that. Remember when he mouthed it after making the shot, don't clap now and all that stuff? It's like, come on, man.
We're fucking sassy.
Yeah, we've been here already with him. So that's why it's one of those deals when it comes to Tobias Harris. Man, just go hoop, man. Go drop 30 on the Charlotte Hornets and leave no doubt until a week later.
Man, if he doesn't have a good game against Charlotte, we're looking at a long march, fellas.
Man, do we need to provide an over-under for that one, even since we don't have a pregame tomorrow? We'll see about that one.